Салют, леди и джентльмены! Сегодня у нас супер необычный подкаст, который мы записываем с Раймондом Дюком. Это копирайтер из США, который работал с Робертом Кийосаки, Брайаном Трейси, Тай Лопезом и огромным количеством очень крутых, признанных чуваков. Сейчас он сам про себя расскажет. Раймонд, большое спасибо, что пришел. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Можешь в двух словах рассказать про себя, про то, чем ты занимался? И понятно, что я кратенько про тебя рассказал, но ты сам 100% сможешь сделать это лучше.
I've been a copywriter for over 10 years. I started because I like to write. And one day someone contacted me and said, I like the way that you write. I will pay you to write for my business. And prior to this moment, I had no idea that I can make money from my writing. I was doing it for fun. I had a blog. I would write about my experiences. I would tell stories. And people liked what I had to write. So that's how I started. Since then, like you said, I've written copy for a lot of different people, a lot of personal brands, a lot of marketing personal brands in the US. Mm-hmm. And I've also branched off to doing affiliate marketing. So I promote other products and services from other businesses, and I get a % when I help them get a sale. So I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've been doing it online. And I've lived and worked from over 36 different countries since then, since I got started.
Okay. Когда специалист начинает свой путь, очень многое в его карьере зависит от имен, компаний или личностей, личных брендов, с которыми он работает. И как тебе удалось поработать со всеми этими людьми, которых мы перечисляли в начале видео, там, включая Кийосаки, как ты к ним попал? И что ты можешь посоветовать своим коллегам, любым начинающим специалистам, для того, чтобы поработать с кем-то из звезд или селебрити?
So the first part of your question with the name dropping, yes, 100%. I wouldn't have gotten the clients I had I not mentioned the clients I had before. And all you need is one like main big client to work for to like get more. Because you can say, hey, I wrote for this person. I worked for this person, and they say, oh, okay, sure, come on, because they trust you more.
Like social proof.
Social proof, yeah. But how did I get to these big clients? Kind of random. I don't have a strategy. It was kind of luck. But some things I was doing, I was networking a lot, making friends, letting people know what I do, and making connections, paying attention to different people doing different kinds of projects. And one day, someone who was a friend of mine, like an online friend, I never met this person in real life, but he was another marketer, and he knew that I was a copywriter, and he was connected to another big personal brand, and he knew that this personal brand needed a copywriter. So he's like, oh, I know a copywriter, and he recommended me. So it was all about networking, making sure people know who I am and what I do. And then this company contacted me and said, well, you are new. We will give you a test project, see how you do. And I did very well. We sold I think $400,000 from my info course, from my advertisements. So huge win, success from first project. And then after I had this first project, this first client, everything was easier because it's like, hey, you're good. We want to hire you again and again and again. And then other people start to hear about it. And then I can't say 3 steps or something because it wasn't 3 steps. It was just a matter of networking, making friends, every day doing something, writing, trying something, posting something, sharing something.
Если вы тоже хотите работать с топами рынка, создать очередь из потенциальных клиентов, которые не будут спрашивать кейсы, называть возражения дорого, а сразу будут готовы заплатить за вашу услугу, для вас я записал курс «Монетизатор знаний». Он глубоко раскрывает тему продаж через личные блоги. Уникальность его в том, что уроки не только про инструменты, но и про чувства, которые мешают экспертам вести блоги. Лень, прокрастинация, сопротивление, стыд говорить на камеру, страх продаж и вот это вот все. Про то, как снимаете рилсы, закупать рекламу у блогеров, делать сторителлинги, продавать в переписках, мы, конечно, тоже говорим. Если вы уже давно хотите заняться личным брендом, но постоянно откладываете непонятно почему, курс «Монетизатор знаний для вас», ссылку оставлю в описании.
Расскажи про свой опыт в России. Ты уже год или даже больше жил в России, и наверняка тебе что-то показалось необычным, удивительным, прикольным. Расскажи про то, что самого самое запоминающееся было во всем твоем опыте там?
So I've been coming to Russia ever since 2019 when I first met my wife. And my experiences before coming to Russia, I didn't have any experiences, of course. So my idea, my interpretation of what it was going to be like was a lot different than how it was. Because I grew up in the US, I'm from the US, and my ideas of what Russia was like was influenced by American films, American culture, movies, books. So this is my idea, and we had a lot of funny, interesting experiences. But I really did believe, before I came to Russia, we were staying in a hotel in Moscow when we first arrived. I really thought that there was going to be microphones in the room listening to me and listening to our conversations, because I'm an American, I'm in Russia.
Like George Orwell.
I thought I was going to be like watched and tracked and spied on because I'm an American, right? In Russia. So this is my belief. And of course my wife, she laughs, she's like, it's ridiculous. But maybe it is true. Maybe. Who knows?
You have a phone. You have a
Yeah,
microphone.
it's true. I mean, yeah, at the same time, we have these beliefs, but at the same time, yes, we have a phone that can listen to our conversations, that can do a lot more than listen to us in a hotel room. They know what time we wake up, and they know where we shop, they know where we go to eat, they know what we search for on Google, they know everything about us, more than maybe we know about ourselves. They can predict when we will do something and when we will want something, and they can show an advertisement at that moment. So, yes, but as far as my experiences, all good. I had one bad experience in Moscow in 4 years, and I've been staying in Russia maybe an average of 6 months a year.
Что это было?
The bad experience?
Yeah.
That's someone who was drunk. He came up to me, I was walking, and he like wouldn't leave me alone. He was like wanting me to come drink with him or something like this. And he was asking me to give him some money, and I told him, я немного понимаю по-русски. Like, I don't really understand you. I just kind of like minding my business, and he wouldn't leave me alone. And it seemed like he wanted to fight with me. He was kind of like being aggressive and kind of touching me and like waiting for me to touch him back so he can start a fight. So what I did, I just went into a restaurant, and I tried to explain to the workers there, the manager, like, look at this man, he's following me. And at first they thought we were together, because this man told them in Russian, we are friends, we're like, he told them, and they believed him. And of course the restaurant doesn't want any problems, any trouble, so they try to get us both to leave. But then after the manager came, I explained to her, then she made him leave. Then he tried to fight with her, and then they eventually threw him out, and I waited until he left, and then I left. That was the one bad experience, a drunk.
Yeah.
person.
Drunk people есть everywhere.
Yeah.
Тебя по-любому научили матерным словам. Какие слова ты знаешь?
I know, I can say.
Yeah.
Okay. I know пиздец, I know сука. I don't know so many, actually. Bliat, like it's I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of curse words in Russian.
Okay,
but,
let's learn something else.
Uh-huh.
Нахуй.
Нахуй.
It's like go fuck.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Or
Go fuck yourself. Это как Илон Маск сказал. Илон Маск.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Это нахуй?
Иди нахуй. Yeah.
Иди нахуй.
Иди нахуй. Go to the fuck yourself.
Go,
It's like
иди
нахуй.
Okay. I don't know when I will use these words. I don't know if I have an opportunity to.
Заметил ли ты, чем отличаются русские девушки от американок? И почему ты выбрал русскую жену? Почему из такого большого количества стран, где ты был, ты остановился на русской женщине и именно с ней решил связать свою жизнь?
I mean, everyone is different. So it's like, I can't say all Russian women are this way or all American girls are this way. I think generally I would say Russian women are more traditional, more about family and having a good home. And American women generally are perhaps more focused on themselves, maybe more independent. I mean, I think American people in general are more focused on themselves, more about their own personal development before their family. Not all, again, there's just a generalization. It's not true for all people. But that's just my impression growing up in the US. And that's also my experiences, my personal experience, and also experiences from people I know who perhaps wait until they're 35 years old or older to find a husband or a wife, or they're working, you know, up until this point before they even think about having a child. This is my experience too.
Mm-hmm.
I waited, you know, until this age till I found somebody. Mm-hmm. Versus in Russia, maybe you look for a partner in your 20s and you like find somebody. So that's one difference. There's a lot of differences, I think, but that's the one I can think of. Another one, perhaps. I think Russian women take better care of themselves, take better care of their appearance. I think also not just the women, Russian people in general, and you can see this easily if you go out to a city like Moscow, for example, and then go to New York, and you look at how people dress. Like generally, they take more better care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And as far as how they look and like they dress. When we went to the U.S., when my wife and I went, and we went to the mall, we walked around, and it's pretty common for people to just maybe walk around in their sleep clothes, in their pajamas and slippers, and they're at the mall, they're at the restaurant, and they're like in their same clothes you'd wear at home. But again, it's not bad. It's just in America, maybe it's more about how you feel than about how you look. Like they want to feel comfortable, they want to feel more relaxed and not so focused on their appearance and how they want to dress.
Mm-hmm. С чем это может быть связано?
I think it's a mentality difference. I think, again, it's more about how you feel than about how you look, and how maybe Russian people are more interested or more focused on how people see them and what people think about them. This is just my guess. I can't say for sure, but this is just my experiences from being in both countries and growing up in this country and spending time in this country. But it's not true. The thing about the U.S. too is that there's every state, every city is different. And if I say this about one place, you can go for a 20-minute drive and it'll be completely different. Like if you go to Los Angeles, the people will be like this, but if you go to Orange County, the people will be like this. So it's like when people say, I was in Russia this year and I went to a meeting and somebody asked me where I'm from and I said the US. He says, you don't look like an American. And
you look like a Turkish?
Maybe a Turkish or who knows. But this person's idea of what an American's supposed to be is maybe blonde hair, blue eyes, Brad Pitt, somebody, you know, like from the movies. But if you go to America, everybody's different. I went to go get my hair cut, and every single person in the barbershop was different. There was Indian, black, Mexican, Japanese, like every single person who was sitting down in the barbershop, even the workers, every worker was from a different nationality. So this is kind of like what it is. Everybody's different, and it's a mix of everybody kind of thrown together.
Окей. Есть такой стереотип, что русские люди закрытые и очень суровые и сердитые, и они не пускают в свое поле как бы вообще посторонних, особенно если это там не какие-то близкие родственники или близкие друзья. Заметил ли ты такое, когда общался, допустим, со знакомыми, с друзьями своей жены или просто с людьми где-то на улице?
No. I think this myth or this idea comes from people who are not used to, I feel like Russian culture and Russian people are very practical. They're very like direct and practical. And if they don't have a reason to smile at you or to greet you or to be warm to you, then they won't. Versus in the US, like people are maybe more friendly and they will start a random conversation with you, and it's more like part of this culture to be like this. And if you like see somebody who's not like this, you think, oh, something's wrong with this person, or this person's cold, this person's not kind. But really, this person maybe just doesn't have a reason to go and say hi to you. So it's more about like practicality, and then again, it's a mentality difference.
Короче, этот миф true.
Is the myth true?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's just the understanding is different. But it's just a stereotype, and it's like I mean, it's like true, but not true. It's like, from their point of view, from their perspective, it's true because this is how they understand it, and they're not wrong, but at the same time, it's not 100% true. It's more just a difference in thinking.
Окей. Какие еще стереотипы подтвердились, которые, возможно, ты знал до этого? Может быть, про баню, может быть, про еду какую-то, может быть, про медведей на улице?
No, I mean, the vodka, I was in Russia for almost 1 year before someone wanted to go and drink vodka with me. And the stereotype is you get off the plane, someone's going to come up to you and say, hey, let's go drink vodka right away, you know, but this is not true. It's a myth.
Окей. Надо было сюда ставить водку и здесь пить водку. Давай попробуем раскрыть тему того, чем отличается маркетинг в России от маркетинга в США, и есть ли какие-то такие темы или явления, которые красной нитью прошивают вообще весь маркетинг или весь бизнес. Например, когда я беседовал с Сашей Жарковой, это одна из основателей агентства Setters, популярное коммуникационное агентство в России, она говорила, что в США отсутствует middle сегмент, и в целом аудитории middle сегмента нет. Есть только high и down. Что ты думаешь на этот счет? И есть ли что-то, что ты заметил, глядя на то, как работает российская рекламная коммуникация, в том числе наружная, и то, какое ты видел в США?
I think marketing in the US is more aggressive, way more aggressive, because they're more about getting a sale than they are anything else. Like it's the number one thing is to make a profit for the business, not, in my opinion, like maybe do what's good for the person or do what's good for even the country. More about generating a profit. It's like that's the number one goal. And I feel like in Russia, maybe it's also about profit, but also about maybe not breaking away too much from the culture. Like we noticed in advertisements on Russian TV, there's almost every advertisement has a family. Like a family, children, they're happy, they're using the product, they're smiling. The next advertisement, there's an advertisement for soap. Again, it's a family using the soap. Like it's always about this. Like this is more of the message in Russian advertisements. This is what I've seen. And I haven't been in the U.S. for almost a year now. So when I go back, I will pay more attention to this. But yeah, that's interesting. About the middle class, I can't say. Like there is definitely a market for luxury, for high-end products, and it's a whole different message in the marketing. It's more, I mean, every marketing message has emotion, but the luxury message is more about making yourself feel better, I feel, than everybody else. Like how you can feel better, how you can reaffirm your status, and how you are better than the people who are under you or lower than you. One common thing between US marketing and Russian marketing, I mean, it depends. What kind of marketing are we talking about? Like just everyday products, like stuff for the home, like food products, or are we talking about marketing like more personal brand marketing or something, or is there some kind of marketing or just in general?
It's like FMCG, fast moving
customer products?
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest,
okay.
I don't know the biggest or the commonality between both products. But I know another difference too. I feel like American marketing is getting more political, more about like, and maybe it's a strategy with the marketing, like
American marketing, it's more political.
I think so. Well, I don't really know every Russian advertisement. Maybe it is too, to some extent.
No.
But no, the American marketing that's political that I'm referring to is political in a way to be divisive. Like you really have to align with this belief or this belief to enjoy this product. Like some agenda they're trying to push, for example. Like now, another difference in American marketing, you see more maybe like transgender or people who are different ethnicities, just because they want to showcase this more as part of like the highlight of the marketing itself. So of course this gets more attention than the actual product that they're trying to do an advertisement about, because maybe it makes the news. Like, hey, they had someone who had their chest, their tits removed on a poster for some clothes, and they have the scars here, and they show this. In Russia, I don't think you would see this.
Точно нет. Но вот еще интересный момент. И несмотря на то, что в США тема свободы выбора и свободы личности ставится во главу всего, и человек может сам делать со своим телом все, что он хочет, со своей жизнью, но когда производители, когда бренды пытаются заигрывать с этой аудиторией, вот, например, бренд Bud, они взяли трансгендера для рекламы пива линейки Bud Light, и люди начали кенселить это пиво, и несмотря на то, что вроде как мейнстрим говорит, что трансгендерность и там нетрадиционная сексуальная ориентация это нормально, потребители все равно начали кенселить. Как ты считаешь, с чем это может быть связано?
I think people generally respect someone's freedom to choose who they want to be. I don't think that's the issue, that's the problem. I think that it's the problem when they take, because first of all, it's a small percentage of people who are transgender, I think, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at the statistics, it's not like 50% of the population.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I think people are against this idea, like when you take a small percentage of people and try to make it the mainstream, and they feel like, okay, I respect you, and if you want to do this with yourself, that's fine. But then, like, I think people are against the idea of making it so, like, part of their life too. Like, why are your choices about what you want to do now have to be part of my choices about how I live? Like, I think this is where the disconnect is. So maybe people agree with it and they respect it, but they don't want to be seen it on they don't want to be shown it on every advertisement, or they don't want to like identify with this, because that's not how they identify. And especially Bud Light, Bud Light brand, it's like a popular brand for like before this transgender advertisement. This brand was associated, well, maybe not Bud Light, but Budweiser in general. It's associated with cowboys and like being a man, being masculine, and riding in like on a horse, and going in the mountains and drinking your Budweiser. So, but then like you have these people, these men who associate themselves with this marketing, and then they turn on the TV and they see a transgender person in a bathtub with soaps drinking Bud Light, saying, "Oh, I love my Bud Light," and they're like, "Wait a minute, this is a big disconnect. It's a big jump." So maybe if this kind of advertisement or marketing would work with another brand, but it was a mismatch. And if you want to talk about like understanding who your market is before you do an advertisement, like who are the people who buy your product, and then do an advertisement or message for those kind of people who have this kind of thinking versus something that's a big disconnect.
Если вы хотите делать вирусные инфоповоды так, чтобы про вас писали СМИ, говорили самые крупные и авторитетные блогеры, при этом, чтобы не потерять деньги на провале репутации, а наоборот набрать медийные очки, вы можете научиться делать это сами. Курс «Вирусные инфоповоды», который я лично для вас записал, раскрывает все ключевые темы хайпа как рекламного инструмента. Вы узнаете, как придумывать креативные идеи, как доносить их до нужных журналистов, как обезопасить себя юридически и, главное, как монетизировать эту узнаваемость. Ведь нет задачи просто пошуметь, есть задача донести нужное метасообщение и замотивировать на целевое действие. Курс «Вирусные инфоповоды». Ссылка будет в описании.
Получается, это ошибка рядового маркетолога, который согласовывал эту рекламную кампанию, и он не угадал с целевой аудиторией, что целевая аудитория не хотела быть похожа на персонажей, которые используются в рекламе. Но если посмотреть на большую часть рынка, то при брендинге, при построении системы ценностей и вот этой идентичности бренда раньше обычно использовали персонажа, который должен был быть похож на целевую аудиторию. Например, я мужик, я здоровый и сильный, и моя целевая аудитория хочет быть похожа на меня. Но сейчас, как правило, бренды стараются не показать пример, чтобы человек себя ассоциировал с аватаром этого бренда, а показать какую-то идею. Например, экология, забота об окружающей среде или вот там свобода личности, свобода там какой-то сексуальной жизни и так далее. То есть они, получается, просто не угадали с целевой аудиторией, или как ты считаешь, в чем произошла эта ошибка?
It's interesting because it's an interesting change because we'll see the results. For one, the results is they're not as successful. Their stock goes down, their value goes down, people stop buying their products. So financially, it seems like a bad decision, in my opinion. And this is just the results of this. But we'll see if it ends up being a good decision for them, if they achieve their goal. Maybe if they push an agenda, they are willing to lose profits for their business. Maybe they want to use their business to push an agenda, and if they lose money, but they push an agenda, then maybe they're okay with this. So we'll see. But as a result, it's definitely changing the way people understand brands, and now people are maybe thinking more about the brands that they use and how they like. Now, if they wear this brand, they know that people will see them a certain way. If they wear these kind of clothes and this brand of clothing makes a certain type of advertisement that identifies with a certain type of person, then it's divisive. And on one hand, it might work because if somebody like, if they have clothes, for example, that pushes a certain type of message, which has always been the case. Like if you were like there's a movie we watched, my wife and I, in the beginning, there's the models in the movie and they go like, make a face like you're wearing H&M clothes. And they smile and like, oh, now wear Balenciaga. And they're like, oh, kind of stern. H&M, and they're smiling, Balenciaga. H&M, and it's like kind of, because these, people associate this type of emotion with this type of brand. And what we're seeing now, I feel like, and as an extension of this, now it's not just about the emotion, it's about the belief and kind of person who you are with this kind of brand. But financially, if there's only a small percentage of people who maybe have this belief, then only a small percentage of people are going to be part of your market that you can get sales from.
А вот это интересно, потому что то, что происходит, в этом смешном видео H&M и Balenciaga, кстати, мы сейчас его покажем.
И вот вы снова в H&M. Да, мы же пошутили, мы дешевые и счастливые. Давайте встаньте поближе, снова Balenciaga. Свирепее, чем когда-либо. Вы холодны, как лед, да.
В этом видео мы видим аватара бренда. То есть бренд говорит, что если ты носишь этот костюм, то значит ты вот такой. Либо свой парень, либо крутой чувак. Это разница в аудитории. Но когда мы говорим про бодипозитив или вот про трансгендерность, мы поднимаем какую-то глобальную идеологическую проблему. И вот, например, Victoria's Secret, они долго топили за стройных, барби-подобных девушек. И совсем недавно они попробовали бодипозитивных моделей, инклюзивных моделей. И у них было то же самое, что и с Bud. У них стали падать продажи, и они такие, ой-ой, мы go back.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about this. I know
Три
this.
английских слова, обратите внимание, 3 английских слова, и собеседник understand what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Как ты считаешь, вот это заигрывание с повесткой бодипозитива, трансгендерности и так далее, это решение маркетинг-тим, фаундера, или может быть вообще политическое решение, спущенное сверху и сказанное, так, ты теперь топишь за бодипозитив, потому что это наша идеологическая проблема. Как ты считаешь?
I think I understand. I don't understand your question, but I understand the situation you mentioned with Victoria's Secret, how they were using, like, they want to show body positive models, and they're like maybe overweight or different type of body types, and they show like, no, everyone is beautiful, which again, people agree. If you're a person, you're beautiful. I think most people would agree and respect this. But at the same time, prior to this, Victoria's Secret had an association with being sexy and taking care of yourself and being fit, and this is the kind of brand that they had. And then they switched, and then of course their sales went down because now it's not about this. This is the reason why. And in general, I feel like more people associate with this too, because they wanna feel good. They don't wanna like just feel like everybody's the same and everybody is nice, which is true. But at the same time, like, I want to be sexy, and they want to have this goal. And this is a bigger portion of people, I feel like. And on the same topic, I think this is an example of kind of not understanding what people want. Like maybe telling people this is what you want versus, well, let's listen to you and really understand what you want, versus like kind of pushing, you know, you will want this, you will think this. It doesn't work because people know what they want, and you need people are. It's also a matter of like respecting the people versus like thinking they're not smart enough to think for themselves and thinking like, you know, we're the brand or we're the leader here. We have more power. We have the money. You will like, we are smarter than you. We will tell you what you want. But in general, if you treat people like this, it's not good. And people, I feel like, are smarter than, in general, people can do stupid things, but general people also are smart. And if you respect them and like understand them, that's better than trying to force something down them. I think they just get younger people who start working for the companies. And these younger people are maybe given this idea in the schools that they go to, and they feel like, no, this is important and this is what will work. And the older people who work in marketing were like, well, you're younger, you have a closer connection to the younger generation, so we will try and listen to you. This is just my opinion, maybe this is what they do. Or they're also maybe being pressured by other groups who are trying to push this agenda, and they give them funding. So maybe their business, they lose funds, they lose sales, but maybe they get donations and support from external groups who kind of want to push this message, this agenda, and they, again, use the business as like a front, like a suit, to just like, they pour money into the business does this advertising, does the marketing. They lose money, but they get money from some nonprofit or something, or some other group. But this is all, I have no proof of this. This is just my opinion, and it's also what's possible. I haven't done any deep investigation into this. I'm just only trying to understand what's going on. And if someone else has a better opinion, I'm open to hearing it, because it's very interesting. From a marketing perspective, if you don't understand what your people want, then you're not going to get sales. Like that's the simple truth, right?
Yeah.
It's supply and demand. You know, you understand what they want and you give it to them.
Вот хороший пример того же, что мы обсуждаем, только который коммерчески, скорее всего, будет выгодным, это, допустим, решение Макдональдс, когда они всю свою историю топили за то, что наши бургеры никогда не будут доставляться, потому что они сохраняют свой вкус только в течение 15 минут с момента их приготовления. Но как только начался ковид, Макдональдс стали делать доставку, delivery, you know? Сейчас Макдональдс впервые изменяет рецепт Биг Мака для того, чтобы выдерживать конкуренцию. Там огурцы становятся, короче, менее солеными, там появляется больше соуса, и он в итоге становится более сочным. Впервые за всю историю Макдональдса они меняют рецепт Биг Мака. И это продиктовано рыночной конъюнктурой, то есть когда среда тебе говорит о том, чего хочет потребитель. Среда на уровне статистики, когда ты анализируешь данные и понимаешь, что потребители хотят доставку, то есть запросы, там WordStat, Google аналитику ты можешь посмотреть и понять, что люди хотят бургеры с доставкой, и у тебя есть данные. Но когда ты говоришь, что мы всю историю своего бренда были про стройных девушек, которые похожи на Барби, а сейчас мы решаем сделать репозиционирование на тех, кто разделяет идею бодипозитива, это основано не на данных рыночной среды, а на домыслах маркетинг-тим или кого-то из, как ты говоришь, юных подаванов, которые приходят в эту компанию.
I don't know where they get their information. They, again, just trying to push this idea, and people don't like it, I don't think.
Don't like what?
This idea, like they don't want to be told, like there's a meme, a popular meme, when it's like you're watching a movie and you really like the movie, but then all of a sudden they try to push some idea in the middle of the film, and you're like, you're disappointed because you just want to enjoy the film. You want to enjoy something for what it is. You don't want to be pushed some agenda, some, you know, some beliefs, some activism in middle of something that you're enjoying. So you understand?
Да.
Like it's like if people believe this, fine, but like to have it like being forced into your everyday life, it's annoying. It's maybe like if maybe some examples like if you're protesting, like you know, the Stop Oil protesters, like they want to stop the burning of fossil fuels, for example, and maybe they have some valid points to make. They want to stop pollution. It's okay, cool. Like, yes, we should reduce the pollution. It's a good thing. But then they will maybe sit in the middle of the highway and glue themselves to the floor. And it's like, wait a minute, like I support you, but I have to go to work. I support you, but I don't want to hit you. I don't want to hurt you. Or I support you, but my wife is pregnant. I need to go to the hospital. Move. So it's kind of like, you know, being forced to believe something, or to interrupt you and interrupt your day-to-day life. And I think as if you're a marketer, or if you're a consultant, there's a smarter way to go about things than to like force somebody or push something. It's like with advertisements, like showing pop-ups on the browser. It's maybe not so effective because people want to go to a website and look at the website, but if they see like 5 pop-up ads, maybe they'll find another website. Like it's pervasive into your day-to-day life.
Как получается, что бывает какая-то глобальная идея относительно там, загрязнения окружающей среды, добычи нефти, проблемы людей с ограниченными возможностями. И когда бренд принимает решение сделать, по сути, акцию, то есть донести какую-то идею через свой продукт до аудитории, как правило, по твоей практике, по твоему опыту, это всегда контрпродуктивно, как получилось у Bud Light или как у Victoria's Secret, или бывают прецеденты, когда бренд и новую аудиторию получает, и больше денег зарабатывает, и идею, которую хотел донести, доносит?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because maybe in general these ideas, they're not as popular as people want them to be. And this is why they have to do these very aggressive changes that are not popular, because again, they're probably not as popular. Like people want to feel good about themselves, but then at the same time, to feel good about yourself, you need to eat healthy and exercise. Like when I eat healthier and I exercise, I feel better about myself. This is the truth. And if I see somebody who's overweight on TV, that doesn't help me feel better about myself. That just makes me feel like the standards have gone down. So I think a lot of people inside feel the same way. And to be like, push this idea like, no, it's okay to not take care of yourself, it's not as popular. I feel like people, it's not a positive thing. In general, maybe some people like it, but in general, like, in this case, for example, you're talking about the Little Mermaid movie? Yeah, like it was a cartoon character in the first place, so she wasn't even, you know, real. It's not like you're saying like Cleopatra was all of a sudden black or something like this. It's or something that's not historically accurate. But again, if someone wants to use a different actor to play this character, I mean, sure, it's not accurate, but as long as people know it's not accurate, but it's just they're doing it just for fun. I don't know. If my opinion about this is maybe not as strongly as someone else's opinion. And, but again, too, it's about like the reason why they are doing it. Like if they're just doing it like, we gave this person this position just because of their skin tone, or because, yes, because of their skin tone, then that's like racist. You know, like you can't get this role because you are white. Like we don't want to, you know, allow you to have this. That's racist. In my opinion, it's just reverse. But some people don't believe this. Some people think, no, it's racist if you do it the other way around. Like if you only cast a white person for this role because, well, like, no, in history, this person was white, so we want someone who matches. But some people say, no, you need to be more supportive. So I'd say it's a difficult topic because it depends.
Yeah.
but it depends, I think, on the context.
Про агрессивный маркетинг. Если рассматривать начало нулевых годов, десятых годов в России, когда реклама была другой, абсолютно точно, как и Россия была другой, в общем, 10 лет назад. Там, например, был такой предприниматель Евгений Чичваркин, это основатель компании Евросеть. И вот они что только не делали в плане агрессивной рекламной коммуникации. Было очень много сексуализации, было очень много провокаций с использованием нецензурной речи. Например, там был такой слоган «Евросеть, Евросеть, цены просто охуеть». Или у Эльдорадо была реклама, которая называлась «Сосу за копейки». Это отсылка к как будто пылесосы делают типа blowjob. И это все часть рекламной коммуникации. Одно слово.
I understood blowjob.
И вот сейчас тоже остаются до сих пор бренды, например, Burger King, который использует агрессивную достаточно рекламу. Он всегда троллит Макдональдс. Там вот, например, острые крылышки, смотри, не обострись. Это тоже игра слов. Сейчас Максим переведет, наверное. И это то, что называют агрессивным маркетингом у нас. Как ты считаешь, сексуализация и использование нецензурной речи в США вообще насколько это часто применимо и что там называют агрессивным маркетингом?
I think aggressive marketing, it gets attention, and that's the goal for a lot of the times they're doing this kind of marketing. The goal is to get attention, and they don't just do it for fun, and they do it because it gets attention. That's the goal, and if it does this, sure, it works, but it's I think it's also short term. People forget fast about it, and maybe it gets attention, but next week their attention somewhere else, even the next day. So maybe it's okay. It's good for the short term. I haven't really seen any. I think a marketing in the U.S. the way to tell how it's aggressive, if it's aggressive, is if you look at like how it was in the past to how it is today. Like if you look at old advertisements from like 1950. And then you look at advertisements today and you're like, wow, it's a big difference. So that's how you can tell how aggressive it is. But I think in general, marketing, just like society, gets more aggressive as time goes on, but it's difficult to see it in the day-to-day. Like they're always trying to push it a little bit more, a little bit more, and you know, each company goes more and more and more, and you don't notice it until you look back 10 years ago. And then you see the marketing, and you think like, "Wow, it's so like nice." like the message is so friendly, and then now today it's just about like you need to believe this, you need to do this, you need to say this, you need to like it's very aggressive. But then in 10 years will be even more aggressive, I imagine. So it's just a trend. I feel like marketing gets more aggressive, especially as our attentions get lower and lower. We have more things to distract us. So it's just a strategy to get attention.
Если я правильно понял, то краткосрочное внимание, когда ты используешь какой-то такой агрессивный прием типа раздетых людей или матерных выражений, это краткосрочное внимание, и люди очень быстро забывают, потому что нет чего-то, что могло удерживать их внимание далее. Нет чего-то, что скрывается за этой коммуникацией, правильно?
Yeah. It gets attention. It does a job in the short term. Now the question is if you can back it up with the product or service that people like. Like there's even big brands like do aggressive things to get attention. Like the Tesla truck, for example. Not so aggressive, but it got attention when they threw this steel ball at the truck to break the window.
Cybertruck?
Yeah. And it was maybe something aggressive, not really so aggressive, but it's like something that got attention and sure was talked about.
It's creative.
Yeah, it's creative. It's something different.
Когда он вез Porsche 911 и обогнал Porsche на, по-моему, 200 метров там что ли было.
Yeah. So it got attention, but at the same time, the product also is good. So it's a good product. So, you know, if you're going to do something to get attention, you should be able to support and back it up with a good product or service. No, I think because we talked about this before about how like maybe Russian marketing has like a couple of different filters to go through to be to like yes, they want to do marketing, they want to sell, but then also like they want to make it so it's a message that's well received by the population. Like more like in line with the kind of the country, with the national like message.
Понятно.
So maybe that's a challenge for marketers in Russia to be aggressive, but also at the same time not do something that is not good for your brand. Like a transgender, for example, in Russian marketing, you probably wouldn't see it because it doesn't align with the national like kind
Сейчас
of.
это уголовная
There's a
статья.
filter, I suppose, is a way to say it. There's a filter about what's acceptable to show. And then maybe in the US, there's no filter. And it's the other end of the spectrum where they can show anything they want to some extent. And people feel like maybe, okay, we don't have a filter. Let's push anything we want, any idea. So, you know, you have pros and cons on both sides. So, you know, if you have a filter and kind of say, you know what, we don't want to show this because whatever their opinion is.
Здесь еще у нас, наверное, такой дисконнект понимания самого агрессивного маркетинга, потому что когда мы говорим про самые простые, базовые способы захвата внимания на физическом уровне, то есть любой человек всегда, безусловно, будет реагировать там типа на обнаженное тело, на громкий звук, на какой-то яркий красный цвет, поэтому sale, громкий звук, движение и так далее. Просто наше внимание так типа устроено. Но когда ты говоришь про агрессивный маркетинг, как будто ты имеешь что-то другое. И вот я имею в виду эти способы базового физиологического захвата внимания, и остаются ли они сейчас в США спустя столько времени, или они трансформировались во что-то другое?
No, yes, you still see aggressive sales. Like there was the Black Friday sales last week or the week before, and there was a video I saw where someone like said Black Friday price, you know, discount, but then they took off this sticker and it was the same price from before.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of just a mirage. It's like just a way to get sales. Like,
Да, я понял.
yeah. So it's a strategy and people use it, and it's I think one thing maybe you don't see in Russia, maybe you do. It's very popular in the US.
The same.
No, but this one thing I'm gonna say is like if something's $5 in the US, they'll put $4.98.
Yeah, у нас the same.
Do they do this in Russia?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's kind of mentally, psychologically, like it makes you think it's lower than $5 if it's $4.98. It's 2 cents less. So, but emotionally, our brain thinks it's lower.
Окей, next topic. Один из трендов в российском маркетинге – это лютая диджитализация микробизнеса. То есть салоны красоты, там парикмахерские, солярии, доставки цветов. Они используют там и чат-боты, и программы лояльности, и ERP-системы, сквозную аналитику, в нескольких соцсетях стараются быть представлены. И у них взаимодействие там и с контекстной рекламой, с сайтами, с CRM-ками. У них у всех, скажем так, есть туда фокус. Даже если не все это реализуют, но все туда смотрят. В США, как я слышал, возможно, это не так, малый бизнес и микробизнес вообще старается просто на сарафанном радио делать качественный продукт, и качественному продукту маркетинг не нужен. Так ли это?
But no, you see both kinds in both countries, I believe. It just depends on the business itself, about if they were focused more on new customers or taking care of the current customers. I don't think it's like in Russia they're like this, in US they're like this. It just depends on the business.
Окей. Нейросети. Midjourney, ChatGPT, Heigen и многие другие. Как они, как ты считаешь, повлияют на рынок труда вообще во всем мире? Потому что пока только все предрекали, что ChatGPT уволит всех копирайтеров, а на самом деле уволили только Сэма Альтмана, который был CEO OpenAI. Fuck.
OpenAI.
Так вот, как ты считаешь, как это изменит рынок труда и какие новые микропрофессии будут появляться в связи с тем, что ChatGPT уже пишет тексты лучше, чем опытные копирайтеры?
I don't know. I'm thinking. Give me a second. I think technologies like ChatGPT and other AI technologies will advance and advance a lot faster than we believe. Like they will continue to advance and get more intelligent, and I think it's still hard for us to comprehend how intelligent they will be. Similar to how with the internet was new, and it was a new technology, and people were like fascinated by it. But I think people didn't really understand the potential. Even today, after 30 some years of the internet being out, we're still kind of catching up to its potential and what it can do for the world and for ourselves. Like we can see the impact the internet it has on how we get information, how we get news, and how political structures work, and how societies work and businesses work, compared to like 100 years ago. It's, you know, it made a big impact, and I think AI will have a similar impact. It is having an impact now, but I don't think it's not so clear how yet or what it's doing. But I think one day it's gonna click and it's gonna be like, wow, it's changed so much.
А с рынком инфобизнеса и с торговлей знаниями, когда у человека есть какая-то компетенция, и он эту компетенцию продает за деньги, что может произойти, если ты можешь, условно, чату GPT скормить там все книги по коучингу, и он станет супер гениальным коучем, или там все книги по психологии, и он будет тебе отвечать на уровне Карла Юнга и Фрейда. То есть, когда у тебя есть возможность задать вопрос эксперту в любой области, и этим экспертом будет чат GPT, что произойдет с платными инфопродуктами, с онлайн-курсами и вообще с торговлей знаниями?
This exists now. You can Google the information. I think when people sell courses and information, the information is secondary to the person who's selling, to the personal brand, to the face of the seller of the product.
Ну, подожди, но Google, он когда не выдает знания на таком уровне понимания вопроса, как делает это чат GPT. Условно, он тебе может выдать какую-то книгу или научную работу, в которой тебе еще придется серфить очень много информации. А чат GPT выдает конкретно точечный вопрос на то, что, условно, вот у меня такая проблема, что мне делать? И он выдает конкретный ответ. Убьет ли это курсы или вообще ничего не изменится, потому что люди все равно приходят на лицо на человека, на его личный бренд?
Yeah, well, I think when people buy courses, they're not buying just the information, because like I said, they can go on Google and get the information. They can go on ChatGPT and get the information. What they're buying is like the confidence of the speaker, of the personal brand, and kind of like this personal brand's a filter who's giving you the information. It's like in school, like every teacher you had was different from each other. Some teachers you liked more, some teachers you didn't like. And the teachers you didn't like, you probably didn't learn as much from the teachers who you did like. So people want to have like this human connection to somebody when they're learning something. So even though ChatGPT can give you information, it doesn't have the human connection. So this is where the personal brand can focus on. Focus on this connection, their own personality, their connection with their fans or their followers, subscribers. And then the information is just secondary, like I said. It's just a matter of giving them the information. The information's there. It's the product. It's like coffee. And you know, it's there, it's abundant. You can go buy cheap coffee at the store. You can go to a nice cafe and pay more because you're getting the atmosphere. But at the end of the day, it's just coffee.
Знаешь ли ты, как построены воронки продаж? Потому что вот в России сейчас в рынке инфобизнеса предприниматели тестируют очень много разных связок, когда там с рилсов люди попадают в телегу, там их приветствует чат-бот, они получают какое-то количество контента, потом какой-нибудь вебинар или автовебинар, на вебинаре происходит презентация конвертера, где уже происходит оплата, или когда люди делают какой-то офлайновый концерт, мероприятие на офлайновом выступлении, ведут куда-то в директ Инстаграма или в хайлайтс Инстаграма и оттуда переводят на конвертер. То есть самих способов захвата трафика, то есть воронка всегда одна, это захват трафика, прогрев, конвертер. какие связки, какого способа захвата трафика, прогрева трафика и конвертации трафика в продажу используют в США и которые, на твой взгляд, прямо сейчас там эффективны?
Yeah, the strategy is generally the same. There's new innovations, new ideas. Like instead of maybe a webinar, they'll do a seminar, like where it's live and video and they're like walking around talking to people. But the idea is the same. They'll just kind of maybe change a little bit of the format. One thing I saw recently was this guy gave away a book, and no, I think he did a big webinar. Excuse me, he did a big webinar, a big seminar to sell this book, and it was like 3 hours long, and he's you're getting people very excited, thinking that he's gonna sell a product, right? And people know that there's gonna be a sale, a pitch at the end. But he has a lot of people who follow him, so they're waiting for the end. Okay, how much? I'm ready to pay you. And so many people on, but then at the end he said, you know what? I'm gonna give it away free. And he gave it away free. But then again, it was just another step in the funnel, because after you get the free book, then there was a sale. But again, it's the same idea. It's just moving. In info marketing, like this marketer named Frank Kern, I think, I don't know if he came up with this, but I think he was talking about it, and or maybe some other marketer, I don't know, came up with something called moving the free line. And what it is basically giving away something free a little bit closer to where the sale is. Because in the beginning, first you give away something free, like a free video, a free ebook, a free course, but then people start to get used to getting this thing for free. So you got to move the free line a little bit closer towards the sale. Like, now I'm gonna give you a free course, and I'm gonna give you a free t-shirt and a free this and a free this, and then you kind of move it to people get more for free. But there's like, maybe some downsides to this too. And I know marketers who don't give anything away for free. Like, hey, I have a book, it's this much, and if you don't pay this, you won't get it. And people still pay it because they want it. So it depends on the kind of marketing that you have and the kind of brand that you have.
В России сейчас правительство и силовые структуры стали прессовать инфобизнес. Аяза Шабудинова сейчас посадили в СИЗО по подозрениям на мошенничество, Блиновской, Лерчик и еще там ряду крупных инфлюенсеров предъявлены обвинения в миллиардных неуплатах налогов. То есть сейчас правительство России берется за контроль этой отрасли инфобизнеса, то есть ее воспринимают как бизнес-нишу, как отрасль, и хотят контролировать. Как в США контролируется инфобизнес, кроме уплаты налогов, что еще должно быть там для того, чтобы не попасть под какое-то силовое воздействие?
Definitely. Like when the internet was new, I've heard stories of people doing products, info businesses, and before there was rules and regulations, you can say almost anything you want. Like, I'll help you make $1 million in 1 month, and they get sales because people want to make this much in 1 month, but then they don't, and then the government has to come in and say you can't say this, and then it gets stricter and stricter. But people find new ways to kind of say the same thing, but now there's so much compliance, and I feel like there is always going to be more compliance. Like when someone does advertisements on Facebook or something, or does advertisements online, there's compliance that reads the advertisements first and says like, oh, you can't use this word, you can't say this, you can't use this type of picture that shows this. So there's a lot of rules about what you can say and what you can't say, because they want to, in their opinion, they are protecting the people from being tricked into paying for something that doesn't do what they think that they...
То есть это регулируется площадкой, на которой размещается реклама, или это есть какие-то законы, указы правительства? То есть кто является регулятором в том, что ты можешь говорить, что ты не можешь говорить, что ты можешь обещать, какие офферы ты можешь предлагать, какие не можешь?
No, the government, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, maybe some other agencies too, I don't know, but I know FTC is one. These are the companies that set the rules, because what happens is people buy the product, like some weight loss supplement, and they buy it and maybe they get sick, or they buy it, they say, I didn't lose weight, I gained weight, and they have a lawsuit, a legal lawsuit against the company. And they go to courts, and then the judge says, okay, like, you win, they make the company pay a lot of money, but if this happens a lot, the government has to say, wait a minute, this is happening a lot, we need to protect the people, we need to have some rules for these companies can't say these things in their advertisements. So when I was writing copy for these personal brands, we had a lawyer who would look at my text and show and say like what I can't say and what I could say, and they were very careful because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to have a lawsuit, a legal problem, and yeah, like especially when you're dealing with people paying money, or if you're dealing with investors, like you're getting investments, you have to be very strict about what you can say and can't say. And as a copywriter, you have to find like a creative way to say what you want to say and still have a strong message without like saying it directly. You have to imply it, or maybe, you know, say it within the rules, but then still be interesting. Because if like the lawyers were to write copy, it would be very boring. Because it'd just be like a big page of text, like with all these rules, and the average person is not going to read all this text and be like, I'm bored, I'm falling asleep reading this. It's not an advertisement.
Они еще написаны таким юридическим языком, когда ты читаешь, и там, вот как в суде читают эти приказы скучные, и они пытаются сделать то же самое с рекламными текстами, получается. Получается, да.
It's like at the end of a radio advertisement, they have to say these disclaimers, and they say it fast because it's boring.
В России несколько лет назад был такой дядька Андрей Парабеллум, и он придумал термин «инфо-цыгане». Это означает, что люди манипулятивными методами выклянчивают у несознательных граждан деньги в обмен на воздух, по сути, продают какие-то недостойные курсы. И в России появилось огромное количество людей, которые негативно относятся к любой продаже знания и вешают клеймо инфо-цыган условно на любого там преподавателя танцев, на преподавателя философии, на того, кто учит создавать магазины на Amazon. И есть ли в США такое негативное отношение к людям, которые продают знания, и к людям, которые транслируют результаты своего успеха, то есть показывают, как они дорого живут, как у них много элементов роскошной жизни, или в США, наоборот, радуются за тех, кто достиг успеха, и не стараются их там обесценить, сказать, что ты инфо-цыган, наворовал, сука.
Well, it's mixed. You have some people who believe and some people who don't. Some people who see these info gypsies and 100% say, no, it's a scam. Like, no, it's bullshit. Like, but then you have people who like say, maybe it is, maybe it's not. You have people who are like a junkie, they call them, info junkie.
Info junkie?
Yes. So a junkie is someone who like abuses, like a junkie is someone who uses drugs all day, every day. And they're an info junkie, they buy info products every day. They see a new advertisement. Okay, this is the one that's gonna make me rich. This is the one that's gonna help me be sexy. This is the one they buy, and then they don't even watch. I know sometimes I work with some people, and they share the statistics. They say, hey, I sold a course. 40% of people who bought course never even watched the first video, because they buy for this emotion of like feeling like they're doing something.
Is it chance?
Yes,
Maybe.
it's like people who sign up for a gym but don't go to a gym. But they pay because they feel like, hey, I paid for a gym. They can go tell maybe their friends, oh, I'm going to sign up for this gym, but they don't go. But back to your question, it's mixed. And then you can go on YouTube and see like a lot of people who make fun of these info gypsies in the US. Say like, hey, so-and-so info gypsy has new course. And they make fun of this person. They tell jokes about them, and they say it's this bullshit. Or they say like, you know, he says he has this nice car, but look, it's his rented. It's not his car. He's not, you know, he just used it for one day. So it's mixed. It's not so black and white. But at the end of the day, it's like what we were saying before it's about the personal brand. It's the info gypsies, they're selling nothing in general, but they're selling themselves. They're selling their personality and as a filter to get whatever information that they're presenting.
И если рассматривать каких-то начинающих специалистов или людей не очень известных, то там может быть вообще всякое, но встречается ли такое, что человек известен, его знают, может быть, по всему миру, но несмотря на сильное влияние личного бренда, на большой объем аудитории, может быть, даже там книги продаются, но при этом, по твоему мнению, большая часть аудитории его считает этим инфо-рома. Например, ну, не знаю, может быть, там к какому-нибудь Райану Холлидею, к Дэвиду Агилви, к Джеку Трауту, к Сету Годину. Есть ли какие-то известные имена, которых при этом люди считают не совсем честными, дающими некачественный контент?
Yeah, like anyone who you can think of who, like, do you know of any popular American personal brands? All of them also have people who hate them, don't like them. So any information seller in the U.S. who is maybe you think is popular, maybe they are popular, but they also have people who don't like them. So that's just standard.
Люди не любят тех, кто успешный и богатый, правильно это?
In general, sometimes it's just a difference of opinion. And maybe sometimes people are so stuck, fixated on their beliefs, their ideology, their view, perspective of the world. And if something different comes in, then they don't like it. It's something that challenges their beliefs.
Кого из авторов либо книг, либо курсов, которые делают контент по маркетингу, копирайтингу, рекламе, ты бы мог посоветовать, просто перечислить по пальцам топ-5?
Yeah, I read a lot of books when I was starting off, and one book I liked was The Adweek Copywriting Handbook by Joseph Sugarman.
Триггер продаж. Джозеф Шугерман, триггеры продаж.
He did these blue blockers classes. You know, these glasses that block the blue light.
No.
It was a popular product in the US. You know, like blue light is like bad for your eyes if you're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So they have like orange tint. The glasses you ever see people wear these like glasses with orange. And he was selling these.
Это Шугерман сделал?
in the 80s.
Is it a product of Sugarman?
No, he didn't invent them. He sold them. He did the marketing. He wrote the advertisement.
Okay.
But he tells a story in the book about how he came across this idea. I think from what I remember, he had a friend who had a big warehouse full of these glasses, and he bought them for some reason, but was gonna throw them in the trash or something. But it says, no, I can write a good advertisement for this, and he did, and they became very successful. Like when I look at copywriting, I like to go back to some of the classics, like Eugene Schwartz, Breakthrough Advertising. It's a very interesting book about direct response advertising, and he talks about the 5 phases of sophistication and the 5 levels of awareness, and how you position your product based on how aware or sophisticated the customer is to your product. And in like some brief example, like you can have 5 levels where you're trying to solve a problem for a customer. The first level is the customer doesn't even know that they have a problem. So your advertisement has to like let them know they have a problem. Like, hey, do you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with stomach pain? Do you maybe you have this disease or this sickness if you're selling some supplement, for example. Next stage is like they know they have a problem, but they don't know that there's a solution. The next stage, they know that there's a solution, but they don't know like which one is best. They know which one is best, but they don't trust you. So they're kind of like you, depending on where the customer is, you have to phrase the advertisement differently. So it's called a breakthrough advertising.
Это 2 получилось. Шугерман, второй вот этот. И...
Eugene Schwartz.
Yes.
And then if you go back even further, like the early 20th century, when copywriting was like originated from like the direct response, when you're trying to just focus on getting the sale, because there's two kinds of copywriting. There's brand copywriting where you're just writing to get awareness. Like Nike does something, some advertisement, just do it. They're not trying to get a sale. They're just trying to make you know, like, hey, we are Nike. We have a brand. That's it. Mm-hmm. But then there's direct response advertising when they're trying to get a sale. Like today, they write something. Today, click here to buy. You're like, it's about getting a sale. So this is direct response. And but if you go back to like when this started, when they're writing the direct response ads in the newspapers in the early 20th century, they had a little space to work with, and they had to write a sentence or two to get a sale. Mm-hmm. So they started to create different ideas about how to write effective sentences and stories and advertisements. So one copywriter name is Clyde Hopkins, and his book was called Scientific Advertising. Mm-hmm. So it's like the scientific process of creating advertisements to people and how to measure. Like if you write to 100 people and you have this many responses, here's how you know.
Исследование, статистика, как манипулировать людьми с помощью данных, что-то типа того, да?
How to look at advertising from a scientific perspective versus just come buy my bread, like come today into my store and buy. It's like, no, like here's how you analyze the market and write something where it gets them to come and give you money.
Это 3 и еще 2.
Two more. So I had Clyde Hopkins, Eugene Schwartz. Who else is there?
Можно маркетологов.
I mean, there's a lot, but I'm trying to think of like the ones that had the most impact on me. I can't think of 2 more right now.
Ладно.
Yeah.
Простим. В России последние несколько лет набирает тренд на личную психотерапию у абсолютно разных людей, у супер широкого слоя населения. И люди, начинающие специалисты, кто пробует себя в новом ремесле, идут там прорабатывать синдромы самозванца, страх продаж, какие-то неприятные ощущения во время отработки возражений. Что я сейчас предлагаю? Я перечислю несколько проблем, Максим тебе переведет, и ты скажешь, чувствовал ли ты это когда-то, может быть, в начале своей карьеры, и что ты с этим делал для того, чтобы с этим справиться. Синдром самозванца – это ощущение, что ты недостаточно хорош, тебе надо сначала там прочитать книги, пройти курсы, набрать кейсы, и только тогда ты сможешь выйти в рынок и что-то продать.
Yeah, especially in the beginning. When you're starting off, you always think that you're not good enough. Like there's a couple ways to go about it. One is if you are better than the person who's paying you, then you are good enough, for example. Like if the person who wants to pay you to help them, if you know more than this person, then that's enough to help this person. That's how I would look at it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Проблема заключается в том, что это ощущение испытывают не только начинающие, а когда у тебя уже там 5 или больше лет опыта, но ты все равно ощущаешь себя недостаточным. И ты хочешь постоянно становиться лучше и лучше, и до этого тебе как будто стыдно взять и сказать, что я разбираюсь, купи мои услуги.
Yeah, I think it's normal. Like even public speakers who've been speaking for 50 years still get a little bit nervous before they go on stage and didn't speak. Mm-hmm. It's just a natural instinct we have in our bodies and our mentality to kind of be a little fearful of something before we are put in, like before we have the spotlight on us. But I think the solution is different for everybody. For me, it's about using my experiences, using what I know to help somebody, and if I think I can help somebody, then I will help them. Like I don't look at it beyond this.
Okay. Если бы ты увидел коллегу, допустим, из России или неважно откуда, и понял, что он достаточно компетентен, достаточно опытен, чтобы продавать свои услуги и помогать людям, но он волнуется, что он еще недостаточно хорош, как бы ты ему посоветовал действовать и что бы порекомендовал?
Well, first, if they have a book, they've already done the work to make a book. And if they're nervous, they maybe are nervous about being judged,
Yeah.
then they should
Difficult.
yeah, well, being judged is part of the process. You're always going to be judged. If you don't tell people about your book, you're going to be judged. You can't escape judgment from people. People will always have their opinions about you. I think it's about confidence, but also it's about how you think about what you're doing. If you've been through the work and you put in the time to make something like a book, then it's like baking a cake but then throwing it in the trash. Like, why not let people taste it? Because this feedback is going to be, it's going to change your life. And the feedback could be negative. It could be like, your cake sucks. I don't like your cake. Make me a new one. But then like, hey, this person didn't like my cake, this person didn't like my book. But then you can also have someone say, I love your cake, your book helped me go through some situation, your book helped me start a business, your book helped me whatever it is that you're doing, and then that's going to feel good.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to kind of take the next step, because the feedback you get will influence what you do next.
Попробуем the same for некоторые другие troubles like this. Страх ответственности и ощущение, что если перед тобой крупный клиент или большая компания, то если ты продашь им свои услуги, то ты провалишься.
Well, for me, I always had a fear of speaking in front of people. I had a stutter when I was a child, and I always avoided speaking in front of people in public. And in my 20s, I took a class in public speaking because I knew I would have to speak in front of people at some point in my life. I can't continue to avoid it. And what helped me was like having a script, not word for word, but some idea, like, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to tell you about these three things. Number one, number two, number three. Today I told you about these three things. Thank you. Like, I had a format, a structure. So I did this in front of people, and everybody was looking at me, paying attention, and then like everything went away. All these problems they were all in my head, like about I was nervous. What will they say? What if I stutter? Are they gonna judge me? Once you actually do it, and it was like, wow, like this whole, my whole life, I thought it was gonna be so difficult and so hard, but then once I did it, it was very easy and very like, it's not so bad. So the idea, I guess the lesson is have some sort of like structure to your talk and get up there and practice. I also did a Toastmasters. I don't think they have Toastmasters in Russia.
Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is a group. It's international. They have a Toastmasters around the world. Maybe here in Tbilisi they have one too. But they're public speaking groups, and they were very helpful. It's just a group of people. You meet, and there's a format. There's a structure. Actually, what I did just now with ums and ahs. They have someone at each meeting with a piece of paper, and they count the ums and ahs that you say. You know, ums and ahs, like the water words. Like At the end of the meeting, they go, Raymond, you had 5 ums, 6 ahs. You know, like, and they so you can stop using these water words, these filler words, I think they're called.
Лень заняться собой и прокрастинация перед задачами, которые нацелены на собственное продвижение, потому что весь фокус внимания на клиентах и на продаже своих услуг. А то, чтобы вести свой блог, записывать свой подкаст, записывать свои рилсы, шортсы и так далее, времени и приоритета нет.
Yeah, well, as someone who's been freelancing for 10 years, like I never had a boss telling me, today you do this, today you do this. Like I had to have the motivation myself to do something, to do my task. What helped me when I had like a big project is to break it into small steps and always just focus on the first step. Like, don't think about everything you have to do, just think about the first thing. Like, if you go to the gym, don't think about going to the gym or what workouts, just think about, you know, putting on your shoes and going, you know, and taking the next step. When I was in South Africa, I was driving along the south part, and I went past a big sign, a big advertisement, and it said the world's tallest bungee jump from a bridge. You know bungee jumping?
Yeah.
And I drove past the sign, I'm looking at it, I'm driving alone, and I'm like, okay, I read the sign, cool. And then I thought to myself, I probably will never be back on this road again in my life, and I will maybe regret not trying this, so I'm gonna go try it. But then I told myself, or I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, like, if I only think about the bungee jump, I'm not gonna do it. So I told myself, Raymond, just go think about the first step. Go park the car. Okay, I'm only thinking about parking the car. I parked the car and okay, now go buy a ticket. Okay, I'm gonna go buy a ticket. Go put on the harness. You know, only thinking about this. And before I know it, I'm standing at the end of the bridge. I'm looking down and I'm gonna jump off the bridge. But I wasn't thinking about this until this time. And that's how I pushed myself to go do what I needed to do or what I wanted to do without actually thinking about it the whole time.
То есть ты говоришь про то, что фокус надо держать даже не на конечной цели, а на маленькой задаче, которая стоит перед тобой, и маленьком действии, которое ты можешь делать прямо сейчас, step by step. And in the end of our speech, I have a small gift for you.
Oh.
In Russia, we have tradition. In our car, we make иконки. You know?
No.
It's a face of Jesus Christ or another
Icon? Yeah.
Yes, and I make for you icons with the fathers of marketing.
Oh.
It's Philip Kotler, Guy Kawasaki, and me.
Okay.
It's for your car.
Thank you.
Yes, for safety
Wow.
and for conversion,
Thank you.
click-through rate.
I'll put it next to my laptop to help me get more sales.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Cool.
you for this dialogue.
Yes. Thank you.